Given the fact that for whatever reason pickup artists and the concept of game that they invented are still present somehow, even in 2025, and given that they appear to be trying to talk about female nature, I want to set the record straight and explain why we learn about female nature, why we talk about it, and once more explain why pickup artists are not to be trusted and should be avoided. Let's begin. One of the first things that we learn when becoming MGTOW or being in the Manosphere is the concept known as female nature. Female nature as a concept helps explain things about the way women act and behave that we would otherwise find strange. Even before being MGTOW, many of us started noticing something was strange about women and the way they act in general and towards us, and noticed something was off and started recognizing patterns. However, when we learned about female nature, we found out that we were right, and it filled in all of the missing pieces. For me, understanding the concept taught me that I was not going insane or imagining things, and that I was not alone in what I have noticed. So, what is female nature? Female nature at its core is the idea that women as a people are generally self-serving and only care about their own interests, even if it comes at the cost of others and disregards the interests of others. It is the idea that since women are people, they're not somehow infallible or can do no wrong. It is the awareness that they can, and many times have, done wrong, and are not afraid to do so if it benefits them, and it's also awareness that they're not somehow above manipulation or deception, and are known to use manipulation if it benefits them to do so. It is the rejection of the idea that women are 100% perfect creatures who have never done anything wrong and are always good people with good morals, who have our best interests at heart and are made out of sugar and spice and everything nice. It is the rejection of falsehood and naivety that spawns from said falsehood of thinking they're the fairer and thus better and more moral and good and superior gender than we are, and it is the acceptance of truth, no matter how ugly it may seem, that they are not infallible and are not 100% good and can do no wrong, and that especially in terms of no-fault divorce or false accusations, that they can and will burn you or will destroy you if it benefits them to do so. Now, why do we learn about female nature and talk about it? The reason is simple. We learn it because what we are being told by society and simps, and even by many women themselves, especially most feminists, is false, and that the narrative of women are always good and can do no wrong, and are not only not bad but also incapable of being bad, and that their word is completely honest and they are not manipulative, is completely wrong. Frankly, the idea that any group of people is 100% good and can do no wrong is completely wrong, and is what we in MGTOW have been trying to teach for all this time. You would think that this would be rational understanding universal to all individuals, but simps would attack you for stating this plain fact. We learn about female nature in order to understand what the actual truth of the matter is, and not what we are being told, and to avoid being naive, used, or deceived, and in a nutshell avoid participating in the system of usury and thus walk away from it. By shedding the naivety and by learning the truth, we are able to gain a greater understanding and thus be able to walk away and avoid being used or deceived and have our resources taken from us. This, unlike what the pickup artists suggest, is why we actually learn about female nature. We do not learn it to manipulate female psychology, or to get them to desire us, or to increase our chances of getting laid, as that is not the goal. We learn it to defend ourselves, defend our own self-interests, understand the actual picture in terms of who women really are as a people and as a gender, and to defend our resources and freedom and maintain peace in our life, and prevent those who hate us from taking our resources and stealing them, and from hurting us. In particular to the reasoning behind learning female nature, I also want to make a comment on the reasons as to why you should or shouldn't learn it, and what reason is the correct reason and to whom this knowledge would be valuable and useful. If you're learning about female nature in order to get laid, or be desired, or to manipulate female psychology, and even paid for said courses from pickup artists, you are not learning it for the right reason, and the reason I say this is this. This knowledge is not intended to be used to help you to get laid, nor to increase desirability or success in relationships, as that is not the goal. In fact, you will probably have less women wanting you, as knowing about their nature doesn't really correlate well with being the type of simp they would want. Someone who obeys their every word unconditionally and does what they want in return for being desired and, on paper, loved. There is a quote that was once said that explains this and is still relevant. You can either love women or understand them, but not both. And I believe it is apt here, because when you learn about female nature, you are trading being liked by them for no longer being ignorant and for being free. Which is why the right reason to learn about female nature is to learn what is really going on, what women are really like, and how to defend yourself from the worst parts of female nature and preserve your resources, freedoms, and peace, and avoid being manipulated or deceived. Now to discuss why we talk about female nature in MGTOW videos, and also explain why pickup artists are not to be trusted. It is simple. When we know something that is being taught by society and by the mainstream is simply not true, and when we know how things are really like, those of us who make MGTOW content, including myself, want to teach other men who may not know it already about female nature, what it is, and how to defend ourselves from the worst effects of it and prevent ourselves from being used, deceived, and manipulated, and to avoid being ignorant. We are not obsessed with women or care about women too much, or are somehow not going our own way, or were sent our own way because we talk about female nature and what we observe in women, feminism, and society. We just don't want our fellow man to be ignorant, and we want to spread awareness about female nature in hopes that it will protect the men who watch these videos from being ignorant or naive, and thus prevent them from being used, deceived, and manipulated. It is simple as that. Regarding the PUAs, what has been happening and thus what prompted this video are these things. 1. PUAs selling books on female nature and charging money for the knowledge, assuming what they're saying is even true. And 2. Ignorant men buying said books and buying into the PUA game, thinking that learning female nature is somehow about getting laid, and that it will somehow improve their chances. A while ago I saw a PUA selling a book titled Women's Secrets 3.0 for $30, only discounted to $20 due to my location, but it depends on purchasing power parity. Now this one book or online product that was sold is just a microcosm of a much larger problem. Throughout late 2024 to early 2025, I saw tons of PUAs and dating roach accounts selling courses and even talking about female nature on Twitter, or at least their propaganda regarding it. I also saw them talking about the concept of game, as they call it, and saw a lot of those reading set tweets or posts buying into this and buying into what they're saying. 13 years ago, Barbarossa made a video titled Deconstructing Game and PUA Frauds, and in his video he exposed the concept of game as nothing more than a backwards, wasteful expenditure of male vitality and male resources. So far he has not once been wrong, despite 13 years having passed, and I think that at this point it becomes more relevant the further time marches on. The tactics the PUAs have been using, especially the ones of selling misleading courses and trying to get you to part with your hard-earned money, remain completely unchanged. The same thing that happened then is happening now, especially with the fact that it is these same PUAs that mislead men on female nature that are also attacking us MGTOWs for calling them out, and we have seen this with Bulldog Mindset being one such example around 2020 and 2021. The reason I tell you, the viewers of this video, to not trust the pickup artists and dating roaches is simple. Anyone trying to sell you free and universal knowledge that is accessible everywhere and is evident and putting it behind a paywall is simply trying to fleece you and scam you. At best and at worst could be outright lying to you about female nature for their own gain, or to mislead you into doing things that are not in your best interests. Anyone trying to promote the concept of game, which Barbarossa rightly called out as a backwards, wasteful expenditure of male vitality and resources in order to to compete for women as a good idea and is trying to promote dating in the modern climate while lying about omission about all of the negatives is not your friend and does not have your best interests, nor any other interests other than their own, in mind. To intentionally promote what is in effect the idea of manipulating others for your own gain, of which pickup artists tend to do, since one of their major talking points is how to manipulate female psychology and how to get them to want you, is not a good or honorable thing to do. To encourage men to put themselves at an unnecessary risk of being Me Too'd and or falsely accused of sexual harassment or assault by women by admitting that there is a risk or lying about it is not a good or honorable thing to do. By promoting such courses and trying to mislead men on why they should learn female nature, and by paywalling information about it, or even editing it to further add misleading or outright false stuff, and to in effect taint any such knowledge, they have only made things worse, and have basically put those who follow them at greater risk of being falsely accused and attacked, and have degraded the Manosphere and what it stands for as a whole in the eyes of the public. And every time we rightfully call them out, we were called incels, losers, gay, misogynists, or bad influences, whatever term they preferred to use at the time. Every time we tried to correct the record and stop them, they used all the shaming tactics available to them to try to discredit us. It is a big reason as to why we hate them and why I hate them in particular. To end this off, the pickup artists are simply bad people who try to mislead you, try to teach you on how to mislead others, and try to fleece you while attacking all those who speak the truth and call them out on their behavior. They are not to be trusted, and if you see anyone try to promote the bullshit idea of game or try to advertise their particular book or course on female nature and female psychology, don't buy it and don't trust this individual. Don't trust those who have a financial incentive in trying to promote dating or getting laid, and don't trust those who call you a loser for not engaging in dating and wanting to avoid it. Most of the time, your self-preservation instinct to avoid dating will be proven to be correct, while those who followed the pickup artists will be worse off. The point of learning about things like female nature is to set yourself free, not to date others or do anything the pickup artists suggest. If you're learning about female nature to get laid and be more desired, you are in the wrong state of mind, and no MGTOW video can help you. Before learning anything about MGTOW, including the concept of female nature, you need to unlearn what the pickup artists have taught you, and you need to learn how to pick up on their tactics and the way they try to mislead you. My message to men who want to learn about female nature or are tempted to buy their books or anything the pickup artists make is this. If you want to learn about female nature, you need to be in the right state of mind, and you need to understand why you should or shouldn't learn it. You should not buy any such course or books the pickup artists create, and you should not listen to those telling you to do so. The knowledge is freely available on every MGTOW channel, and its purpose is to set you free and help you avoid being manipulated and help you understand that, no, the idea that women are 100% good and are completely infallible and can do no wrong is incorrect. The reason we discuss it and talk about it is because we know something is wrong and that the mainstream refused to talk about it. We knew that what we were being told, in particular that women can do no wrong, was a lie, and that some of us MGTOWs learned that the hard way. We talk about it so you don't have to learn it the hard way and have a chance to be free without losing anything. So I highly advise that you do not listen to PUAs or anyone who promotes game and thus start to learn the basics provided by MGTOW channels such as Sandman on what female nature is to set yourself free and to avoid being manipulated, as doing so will help you, while listening to pickup artists who are untrustworthy will be counterproductive and will do the opposite of helping you. With that being said, this has been Igor MGTOW and Video Games. Like and subscribe and click the bell notifications on YouTube if you enjoyed the video. Follow me on odyssey.com, MGTOW.tv and Twitter. Also follow me on Rumble, and bye bye. Thanks for watching.